What if Tensura? Frozen Love, Rimuru x Velzard. By Rimuru 6360. Love who? That one person. Who is that person? Tell me who? The one whose destiny entangled with mine to the point of existing as one. Existing as one? Is this even possible? But who will love you that much other than me? Tell me. Fufu. Is this even a question, my wifey? Wife, you have gotten married even though you have me? I will kill her. I will drive her into madness. You can't. She is already mad. Madly in love with me. Madly in love for what? For love. Why? What is the reason? To be loved. By whose permission? By love. Chapter 37. The Masked Hero Cronoa. Rimuru POV. A beauty. If anyone asks me to describe the person standing in front of me, I will only say, she is a beauty. Gorgeous black hair shining brightly, reflecting the sunlight. A pair of deep blue eyes like an ocean, a doll-like appearance, and white skin like snow. A body with curves in all the right places. She was only wearing a single bracelet on her right hand. A bright light emitted from her bracelet as jet black spirit armor enveloped her entire body. A silver-colored longsword appeared in her right hand. Moonlight. I recognized the sword with a single glance. How could I not? I was the one who gifted that sword to Hinata. Now it is all clear to me. Luminous, please try to maintain the barrier around us. Of course, only if you don't want your city to get destroyed. I said to her with a voice that didn't allow any rejection. Luminous bit her lips in frustration but nodded nonetheless. I looked at Leon and he also nodded in response. Good. Now the only thing left to do is snap. I snapped my fingers as barriers started to appear around me and Cronoa, separating both of us from the outside world. I can't maintain the barriers while battling. That's why I asked Luminous to maintain them. Leon will also help her. Cronoa's eyelids trembled slightly as she opened her eyes. Evil energy started to release from her body, and I could see the chaotic nature in her eyes. Her eyes were sharp, like an extremely experienced warrior. Devoid of any emotion, her eyes and face were like ice. Our eyes met for a brief moment as the chaotic battle began. Cronoa made the first move. She moved swiftly without missing a beat, like the wind, disappearing and reappearing in front of me. She stretched her arm backward and launched a strike straight at my neck. Ting! The sound of two metals colliding rang through the entire area, forcing others to cover their ears. Even skills like universal senses were affected because of the sudden increase in magical levels. That's not a problem for me, because my skill evolved into universal senses a long time ago. I have to say, the attack she launched was easily comparable to that of the old Veldora. She might not be able to win against the present Veldora, but the old one was no match for her. Veldora, even I can't take him lightly now. Ever since Seal-san evolved his skill into Chaos King Nyarlathotep, he has only gotten stronger and stronger. His control over magicules and spiritans has reached a new threshold. The only person other than me who can win against him is Velzard. Guy and Malim also have a fair chance, but since I don't know for sure, I will put all three of them in the same position. Clang, clang, clang. The clashing sounds intensified as the speed of our swords increased. Strike after strike. She didn't give me even a little bit of an opening. I could beat her fairly easily if I wanted to, but I would be the stupidest person if I didn't use this chance to sharpen my sword skills. So, I didn't ask Seal-san to help me in this battle. Clang, clang, clang. Earthquakes started to occur as our battle took the next step. I think it's time to end this battle, otherwise the civilians might get frightened due to the sudden earthquakes. Seal-san, let's do it. Report. Understood. I put my sword back into my imaginary space as a mask appeared in my hands. The anti-aura mask, or whatever you want to call it. I dodged her sword strike and placed the mask on her face. After placing the mask on Cronoa, I could feel myself sinking into her spiritual world. Of course, I had no idea how to do that myself. Seal-san handled the operation entirely. I thought her world would be a void of darkness, but as it turned out, it was rather bright. Since a place like this definitely wouldn't have any light source, I suppose this must have just been an imaginary scene. As I bounced forward, guided by my instincts, I noticed someone standing in front of me. The incarnation of evil. The will of destruction. Cronoa. Hey! I called out to her softly. I didn't want to mess with her in her own domain. Rimuru. It's Rimuru, isn't it? The real Rimuru? The reaction I got from her was rather unexpected, but it's not like I'm complaining. Smooch. What? What's with the kiss on the cheek? Report. Seal-san, stop. I don't know what you want to do, but stop it. I could sense the anger inside Seal-san, so I frantically tried to calm her down. After calming down both Seal and Cronoa, I asked the most important question to Cronoa. So, do you know where Chloe and Hinata are? They are inside the infinite prison deep inside my heart. But Hinata is dead. Only her consciousness is left inside her skill, mathematician. I didn't absorb her skill mathematician, because if I do, Hinata's consciousness will fade away. I patted her hair softly and reassured her. You did a good job. Don't worry. I will find a way to fix all this. It seems like it is impossible to revive Hinata by simply putting the skill back into her body. Because if we do, Hinata's soul alone won't be able to bear the pressure. Hey, wait a minute. What if we unlock the infinite prison and collect the remnants of Hinata's soul? I can revive them both if you permit me to interfere with the infinite prison. I will also handle the energy that is reversed there. Okay. The other Chloe also agrees. What? Aren't you a little bit too quick to agree? Seems like there is no point in trying to argue with her now. Report. Access granted. Interference will begin. She sounded very happy. It's her hobby to mess with skills, after all. I can understand a little of how she is feeling. Report. Complete. Unique skills Infinite Prison, Absolute Severance, and Usurper have been combined along with a large sacrifice of Magicules to evolve into an ultimate skill. Without asking for a yes or no like she generally does, she directly merged the skills. This is not my skill, so it should be fine, I think. Her unique skill upgraded into Spacetime King Yog-Sothoth. Moreover, even the discarnate entity Cronoa, which was originally the other personality of Chloe, went through the upgrade to become a Manus, which gave her the authority to manage skills and the ability to switch with Chloe at any time. Is it really okay to make such drastic modifications? Rimuru is the best. I love Rimuru. Cronoa hugged me tightly in her arms and gave me another quick kiss on my right cheek. Moreover, Cronoa, how can you cut in line before me like that? Chloe, now in her adult form, appeared and kissed my left cheek. This feeling, I can feel the intense rage of Seal-san. Seal, calm down, calm down. Report. Humph. Hey, Seal-san, did you just... What's with that humph? Report. It is just... Don't mess with me. I clearly heard it. You must be feeling quite good, squeezing between two beautiful women so much that you even forgot about me. The cold voice of Hinata startled me a little, but I quickly regained my composure as I looked at her. The feeling was not that bad, to be honest, but I was busy calming down another dangerous individual. I said to her with a smile. Another dangerous individual. Hinata muttered suspiciously as she looked at me with narrowed eyes. Given enough time, she is more terrifying than Velzard. This simple statement caused Hinata to lose her composure. A baffled expression appeared on her face. Are you kidding? Nope, I said to her with a smiling face. But I was serious when I said that. Seal-san definitely becomes more terrifying than Velzard. Well, I'm going out. I don't have time to play around with you. I think that Red Bastard and the Ice Queen are waiting for me outside. Red Bastard? Did you by any chance? Yes. With that statement, I exited the imaginary world and appeared back in the real world. My body didn't even move a single inch from its original position, maybe because of Seal-san. On the other hand, Chloe's body was lying beside Hinata's body on the ground. Luminous and Leon were both guarding her. Sorry for the wait, I said, catching everyone's attention as I moved toward Chloe's body. Leon tried to stop me, looking like he wanted to ask me something, but Shizue stopped him. Standing in front of Chloe's body, or should I say Seal-san, started to separate Hinata's and Chloe's souls. Chloe's soul was simply brilliant, shining like the sun, white and radiant. The process was complicated, but because of Seal-san's help, I managed to solve it rather easily. Hinata's hair started to regain its color as her skin regained its youthfulness. She coughed a little as she opened her eyes. Without a second thought, Shizue and Luminous both hugged her. I looked at Chloe and patted her head. She looked a little worried. I guess she also sensed the redhead. I will handle him. You are strong, but you are not at his level. Yet. She pouted a little but didn't say anything. As I looked in a certain direction, I saw a red-haired and a blue-haired demon coming out of their hiding place. Sensing their presence, Diablo also appeared close to me. He is quite reliable in these situations. So, what brings a useless demon like you here? I asked him coldly. He looked a little irritated for some reason, but it didn't matter to me. Her, he said while pointing at Chloe. I knew it. You have a death wish, don't you? I coldly replied to him. Chapter 38. Velzard Confrontation. Third-person POV. You have a death wish, don't you? Rimuru replied to Guy. His eyes flashed with coldness as the temperature around him suddenly dropped. Rimuru's sharp eyes looked uninterested in him. He turned his head a little to his right. How long are you planning to hide there? I don't have all day, you know? As Rimuru's voice faded, a girl appeared. No, she no longer looked like a teenage girl. Rather, she looked like a fully mature woman with an alluring body. Her snow-white hair fluttered in the air as her golden eyes shone brightly. Even the sun looked dim in comparison. Is she an angel? No, even an angel isn't this beautiful, Rimuru thought to himself, completely oblivious to everything else. The cold demeanor of Rimuru was shaken up a little. Her body didn't even release a single magicule. She looked like a completely normal human, but Rimuru and Guy were the ones who knew best just how terrifying she really is. From their last encounter, Rimuru's power had increased a lot. Even he, himself, was quite shocked at the speed of his growth. A demon lord, primordial demons, and even a true dragon soul would normally be destroyed by such a sudden increase in power, but Rimuru was completely fine. It was all because of Seal. He was not alone anymore. He alone was comparable to two true dragons, the two highest-tier divine spirits, himself and Seal. After devouring Velgrind and the Chaos Dragon, his power increased immensely, not to mention he was evolving every second because of Turn Null. But even so, Rimuru was not confident in beating Velzard. That's just how terrifying she really is. The reason he didn't confront Guy earlier, and didn't even let Diablo confront him, was also because of Velzard's presence. He had sensed her a long time ago. That's why he was very cautious during the entire chaos. It was also the reason that earlier, he wasn't able to stop Hinata in time. But now all the chaos had settled, and all that was left was Guy and the Ice Empress. Judging by your reaction, you didn't even know she was following you, did you? Rimuru asked Guy a little cautiously. He was confident in beating Guy even without going all out, but the true dragon called Velzard was a little too much to handle even for Rimuru. Not to mention Guy Crimson was also here. Report. The analysis of Ultimate Skills Hope King Serial and Spacetime King Yog Sothoth has been completed. Amid all this chaos, Seal gave the good news to Rimuru. All the data collected from both Ultimate Skills was put directly into Azathoth's sub-skills, Spacetime Domination and Multidimensional Barrier, to be more specific. Rimuru's eyes met with another pair of golden eyes. Ba-dump. His heart skipped a beat as he looked at her. She was a beauty beyond words. Rimuru had already noticed this during the Demon Lord Valpurgis meeting, but he had been too busy saving his life to comment on her beauty. Velzard also looked a little surprised. She didn't expect that Rimuru would be able to notice her presence. Seems like my assumption was correct. He is just using a weaker body. Or so she thought. How did you know I was hiding? Velzard asked, a little surprised. Rimuru felt strangely happy while talking to her. He himself didn't understand these feelings of his. My secret, Rimuru replied to her with a smile on his face. He was totally mesmerized by her beauty. Is that so? Velzard muttered to herself. She glanced at Chloe with a gaze that could penetrate one's very soul. Her eyes twitched slightly as she saw how closely she was clinging to Rimuru. An unpleasant feeling penetrated her body, going straight into her heart. She felt really angry and displeased. Jealousy. Am I feeling jealous? Jealous because of a human? Velzard found the situation very laughable. There was a time when Rimuru didn't even leave her side for a second, but now he was not even glancing at her. Velzard was a true dragon, and the strongest one on top of that. She saw through Chloe in just a matter of seconds and demanded, "Give that girl to me." Velzard demanded it with a voice that didn't want to be argued with. Rimuru looked at Velzard with sharp eyes as he asked, "Why?" His voice was firm and his expression was sharp. Even though Rimuru didn't want to make Velzard his enemy, that didn't mean he was going to accept all of her requests. Don't act like you don't know anything. She is too dangerous to be left alone. The cold demeanor of Velzard was something that was making Rimuru uncomfortable. He had a very unpleasant feeling about this. But she cannot stand against someone like Guy and Veldora, let alone me and you. Trying to defend Chloe as much as he could, Rimuru tried his best. That was true. The current Chloe could give a hard time to anyone, but that was the most she could do. If a battle of life and death were to happen, Chloe surely would lose. A person who can move in the suspended world and can use time stop is not simple by any means, Velzard replied coldly to Rimuru, but Rimuru didn't back away either. He didn't have any reason to. Wait, how did she know that Chloe can move in time stop and can stop time? Rimuru thought to himself, shocked. Report. It appears that she heard the voice of the world. Sorry, Master. I forgot to conceal the announcement. Don't worry, Seal-san. It's not your fault. Even so, she can't win against someone like... Rimuru was cut off by Velzard. Stop it already. I feel sick of it. She can't win against us. That is true for now. But we can't be sure if she won't be a threat in the future. The atmosphere became tense. The air became heavy. Leon and Luminous also tried to convince Velzard, but she didn't back away. Guy didn't say anything because of Velzard. There was nothing wrong with what she said, but there was a fatal mistake in her judgment. Rather than a mistake in judgment, it is right to say that she didn't want to admit it because of jealousy and envy. Chloe had full control over her strength. The Manas inside her body was stable and always followed Chloe's orders. Velzard didn't want to admit it. Her pride won't let her. But seeing Rimuru defend Chloe, her jealousy only increased. How can he defend a human against me? If I remember correctly, he was always like this, protecting even strangers, saving them at the cost of risking his life. Velzard thought to herself as her anger increased. Anger and jealousy converted into hatred. You bastard! Velzard muttered to herself while gritting her teeth. She clenched her fingers into a fist. Her cold eyes landed on Rimuru, and the scene that she hated the most flashed in her head. A very, very unpleasant memory. Rimuru was standing in front of Veldonava with a katana in his hand. With a cold expression on his face, he thrust the katana toward the unconscious Veldonava. Kill him. Satoru was the reason for your big brother Veldonava's death. Kill and avenge him, the person you loved the most. Wouldn't he feel proud that you, of all people, took revenge for him? Kill him. Kill him. Hatred, grief, and misery. That's all that's left in your life because of him. You waited and waited, but he never returned, nor did he ever apologize. Return all the hatred and suffering to him. Let him also feel the misery that you felt. Kill him. Kill him. The hell you had to go through alone, even though he promised you to never leave you. He left you, abandoned you, threw you from his life like a replaceable doll. Chloe, the girl he was protecting, was the replacement for you. Kill him. Kill him. Fufu, how miserable. You can't ever forget him. But he not only forgot you but also got a new plaything. Let him feel the anguish that you felt. The pain, the misery, the sorrow. Let's kill him. Offer his head to the dead. Fufu haha. Let's show him just how foolish he was to abandon you. No, I can't kill him. No, never. I will never kill him. Wasn't he the reason for your misery? I forgave him a long time ago. Even if he didn't apologize, he didn't have to. Wasn't he with another woman? I don't care. I will forgive him as long as he returns to me. Fufu, so you even now love him. What a wonderful love. Shut up. Don't you want him back? To your side? Don't you want to hug him again? Hug him. Kiss him. Don't you want to feel the warmth of his body? Don't you want to touch him again? Pamper him. Love him so that he never leaves you again. Whisper sweet words in his ears. Don't you want to make him submit to you? Don't you want him to be dependent on you? Dependent enough that he never thinks of living without you. How? How can I make him mine? Kill the girl and take him back. She must have done something to him. Kill her. Yes. Yes, kill her and kill all the people around. All the people. Why? Don't you want to live with Satoru again? Think about it, if you kill all the people, only you and he will be left. Only me and Satoru. Rimuru. Yeah, only you and Satoru Rimuru alone. Alone. Rimuru, or should I say Seal, felt the change in Velzard's mood. Without wasting any time, she quickly teleported Guy, Leon, Luminous, Chloe, Shizue, and Velzard to the wasteland. She left Rain, Misery, Diablo, Cheyenne, and all the other people behind in the capital city of Lune. She wanted to teleport all of them to the ice continent, but the distance was too large. She didn't have much time, and it would be a big hassle if Velzard resisted the teleportation. But to her surprise, Velzard didn't resist. Veldora, I need your help. Come fast. Rimuru sent a message through the soul corridor. Veldora was surprised, but he didn't waste any time and used spatial domination, directly opening a portal leading to Rimuru's current location. Chapter 39. Chaos in the Wasteland. Third-person POV. The situation didn't look good. As a precaution, Rimuru teleported all the people from his imaginary space into Tempest and asked Shuna to handle them. He didn't have the luxury to explain everything to Shuna, nor did Shuna need any explanation. She is a very smart individual, not to mention sweet and caring. The situation accelerated very fast. The talking didn't even last for 5 minutes, and it was clear that neither of them was going to back down. Rimuru and Velzard glared at each other with cold eyes, cold enough to freeze the entire surrounding area. A chilly wind started to blow, cutting off the whole space around the area from the outside world. Everyone present was on edge. Even someone at the level of Veldora and Guy couldn't help but feel a little anxious. The barriers isolated the whole area from the outside world. All the settings for the battle were settled. The only problem was Rimuru. For some unknown reason, he felt a little uneasy while facing Velzard. He himself didn't understand the feeling he was experiencing right now. Unknown to him, a seed of love had already started to sprout inside his cold, barren heart. That's why he felt uneasy and didn't want to fight. But he didn't have a choice either. He couldn't let her kill Chloe. She was his beloved student, and he swore to protect her even with his life on the line. Without further ado, Rimuru swallowed his doubts and summoned his katana. The same went for Velzard. Clang. In less than a fraction of a second, thousands of moves were exchanged, and this was just the beginning. Clang, clang, clang. Terrified, that was the only thing that Rimuru felt while facing Velzard. She was easily above Guy in terms of swordsmanship. Her martial arts were no joke either. She is a professional at both. Rimuru felt like he was fighting against Seal while battling against Velzard. His future attack predictions started to fluctuate. Even his skill wasn't able to cope with Velzard's terrifying abilities and techniques. Seal-san, full battle mode. For the first time in his life, Rimuru was forced to use auto battle mode at its full capacity. All control over his body and skills was given to Seal. The cold, piercing eyes of Velzard sent a chill down Rimuru's spine. Even in full auto battle mode, the result was a tie. Velzard was blocking all attacks like it was nothing, and not only that, but she was also returning strikes. Clang, clang, clang. Velzard was the first individual who could fight against Seal on equal footing. Spells were flying through the air, and the pressure created by the energy discharges increased to the extreme in just a few minutes. The land got completely devastated. Earthquakes started to occur. This day, the whole world felt the shockwaves generated from their battle in the form of earthquakes. Clang, clang, clang. It's like Seal-san is fighting against another seal. She really is a monster. Rimuru's honest thoughts of Velzard were nothing short of terrifying. The sound of two blades clashing with each other didn't stop even for a minute. Boom! Boom! They were casting spells at each other like throwing water balloons. Analysis, neutralize, and then attack. That was all that Rimuru and Seal were doing. The assault from Velzard's side was so terrifying that Rimuru and Seal didn't even dare to blink. After battling for nearly 6 hours, the result was still a tie. The earthquakes became more frequent as the battle between Rimuru and Velzard continued. The first one to notice that the earthquakes were not naturally formed was none other than De Gruel. The moment he felt the abnormal concentration of magicules in one place, he hurriedly made his way toward the battlefield. And now, the stalemate between the two of them broke after 6 hours of battling. Report confirmed. It is possible to consume the snow crystal defense through predation. But as if hearing their conversation, Velzard created a large distance between them. Did she hear our conversation? Report negative. It's not possible unless the master or I gave her permission. It's more like she realized that we found a way to counter her defenses. Is that so? Then it just becomes more troublesome. Velzard didn't let Rimuru come near her the entire time, because they were just firing long-range attacks, mostly magic. The pressure inside the barrier became so terrifying that even Guy would think twice before entering. And so, it became hard for Chloe and Guy to hold the barrier. Shizue, Veldora, Leon, and Luminous were just providing the raw energy. But their condition was also not good. How are we supposed to hold the barrier? The pressure inside is no joke, Chloe said, a little frustrated as she tried to maintain it. No, we are strong, but the barrier itself is the problem. The barrier is not that strong. That's why we are having trouble. Guy gave his reply after analyzing the barrier. He was quite amazed after seeing Rimuru was able to hold his own against Velzard for this long. This bastard. I don't want to admit it, but he really is a dangerous existence. One that I don't want to provoke. Guy's thoughts were disturbed by a sudden impact on the barrier. Something crashed into it. Really hard. Just a few moments ago, Rimuru found the weakness of Velzard's snow crystal and tried to break it, but Velzard didn't let him get close to her. To get close to her, Rimuru used the Void God Azathoth sub-skill, Teleport. Velzard was startled as she saw Rimuru suddenly appear in front of her, and she unconsciously used all of her power. As a result, Rimuru got sent flying toward the barrier and cracks appeared on the perfectly fine barrier. Seal was quite shocked after witnessing Velzard's power herself. Rimuru felt terrified as he witnessed her true power. To think she was holding back this much. The gap between his and Velzard's power was not small, not to mention her battle experience. And without any delay, Seal put the backup plan into action. The only reason why Seal let Rimuru fight Velzard despite the danger was all because of the backup plan she had made beforehand. A blinding light surrounded Rimuru's body. The cracks in the barriers started to fix, and another new barrier formed around Rimuru's body. It was bright enough to blind everyone present, even Velzard, who had been using universal senses during the whole battle. The entire area was filled with magicules and a weird energy that Velzard recognized just by its mere presence. A chill ran down her spine as the light died down. No, the light didn't die down. Rather, it stopped moving. The whole world froze. Suspended world. Earlier, Rimuru didn't let her use time stop because he would be at a very big disadvantage. But Velzard didn't know that, and she didn't need to know it either. But now he stopped time willingly. Why? Why did he stop time? But before she could think any further, she felt a slight change in space and time. Velzard only felt a little disorder in space and time, and yet, Rimuru's presence suddenly vanished. What? Where did he go? The world started to move again. But Velzard still could not feel Rimuru's presence. It was like he never existed. Tch. These magicules and turn null. Velzard growled. She could not see clearly because the magicule density was too high. Not to mention, she could not move recklessly because Rimuru covered the whole area with raw turn null. One wrong move and maybe her very existence would be erased from this world. The amount of energy was nowhere near enough to inflict a lethal wound on Velzard's body, let alone erase her existence. But she didn't know this. She didn't have to know. After a few seconds, Velzard felt it, a very weak presence of Rimuru. She wasn't even sure if she felt it right. The light that the barrier was radiating earlier died down. The magicules along with the turn null all disappeared into thin air. Ba-dump. Velzard's heart skipped a beat as her eyes landed on the maiden in front of her, standing in the air. Sky blue hair, like the sky itself, sat beautifully on his head, fluttering gracefully in the wind. The golden eyes shone brighter than the sun. A face that bewitched one's body and soul. A height similar to that of a 25-year-old human. The graceful demeanor and the elegant movements of his body could capture everyone's heart. It's been a while, Velzard. The soothing voice sounded like a melody to the ears. Ba-dump, ba-dump. Her heart started to beat at a very fast pace, and the heat inside her body started to make its way toward her cheeks as a blush appeared. So, shall I also get serious? A little? An arrogant attitude like everything is beneath his feet, looking down not only on one or two people, but on the entire world. No, on the whole of existence. Is Satoru. Satoru has returned. The Satoru she knows, the Satoru she adores, the Satoru she loves. Her Satoru has finally returned. Chapter 40. Emotional Breakdown. So, shall I also get serious? A little? The charming smile never left Rimuru's face. He was genuinely pleased to see Velzard after a very long time, and the expression on his face said it all. Pitch-black color suddenly filled everyone's view, and before they knew it, they were all teleported into the imaginary space, a place of miracles. With a flicker of Rimuru's fingers, the whole scenario changed. The pitch-black space turned into a vast green land. Grass and trees filled the entire view. In the east, there were high mountains, and in the west, a vast sea. The air was nice, and the sun was burning brightly. It was a perfect place for relaxing. Did you like it? The sweet voice of Rimuru rang in their heads, the voice carrying a hint of hesitation and nervousness. They snapped out of their stupor as they heard it. The gazes of the people landed on Velzard, but she didn't even look impressed, as if she had already seen it thousands of times. A baffled expression appeared on everyone's face. As expected of Velzard, this didn't even enter your eyes. Let's change it a bit to your liking. With another snap of his fingers, the entirety of the green land changed into an icy landscape. The grass was replaced with snow, and the air became chilly. A castle entirely made up of pure ice could be seen. Snow started to fall. Truly, a world of silver. The temperature was even lower than the ice continent where Guy and Velzard lived. Did you like? Before Rimuru could finish his words, an ice storm flew past her, barely grazing her cheeks. The smile on his face deepened even more. You want to play? The moment Rimuru finished his words, another ice storm made its way toward him. With a smile on his face, Rimuru moved his hand in a swift motion, similar to swatting someone with the back of his hand. The ice storm made contact with his hand and disappeared. Velzard didn't waste her time. She launched herself at Rimuru at full speed. With a sword in her right hand, she slashed toward Rimuru's neck. But before the sword could even touch Rimuru's neck, he disappeared like an illusion. Darling, I know you missed me, but there is no need for this fierce welcome. The seductive voice of Rimuru entered Velzard's ears, but before she could even move a muscle of her body, she felt a slight, moist sensation on her ear as Rimuru bit it gently. Rage filled Velzard's entire body. Without looking, she slashed her sword 180 degrees. The sword didn't graze anything other than air. Rimuru had already moved away from there a while ago and arrived behind Velzard once again. "Dear, don't be mad. I thought you would have forgiven me by now," Rimuru said with a wary smile and a nervous voice. His hands trembled slightly as he hugged Velzard from behind. His head rested on Velzard's shoulder as he continued. "It's already been more than 2,000 years. At least hear me out." Rimuru didn't expect Velzard to be this angry. He could feel the pain that Velzard was feeling. The anxiety, grief, anger, everything. He could feel it, the hatred towards him. "Piss off. Don't touch me. You jerk bastard," Velzard furiously screamed in rage. She turned her body a perfect 180 degrees as her sword penetrated the space where Rimuru was standing a while ago. The crack in space disappeared as fast as it appeared. Rimuru teleported in front of Velzard with a serious expression. He had had enough of her. There was a limit to how much he could endure her trauma. It had been more than 2,000 years since that incident, but she didn't even want to hear Rimuru's side of the story. It was making Rimuru impatient. He could wait for Velzard as much as she wanted. 1 year, 10 years, 100 years, even tens of thousands of years. He would give Velzard as much time as she needed. He could even wait for her for eternity if Velzard said so. But Velzard didn't even want to hear Rimuru's voice, let alone meet with him. At first, Rimuru didn't say anything because he, himself, needed the time to accept what happened and why it happened that day. She also felt betrayed that day, even worse compared to Velzard. She also felt lonely in the dark space containing nothing but darkness. No, not even darkness was there. But of course, Rimuru didn't say anything about that to Velzard. He didn't have the heart to see Velzard sad and miserable. Velzard pulled her hand backward and thrust it forward at full speed with her full strength, ready to penetrate Rimuru's chest. But the sword came to a halt as Rimuru pressed his hand forward and grabbed the blade with his thumb and forefinger. The expression on Rimuru's face was that of a very serious person. His eyes looked determined. He snatched the sword from Velzard's hands and threw it away. Velzard tried to punch Rimuru, but Rimuru easily blocked her punch and grabbed her hand, pulling her closer to him. "Stop it already. I also have my limit. You are acting too childish, even more so than Veldora and Malim. Do you think that you are the only one who is suffering? Do you know how I'm feeling right now? Do you know how I felt when you said you didn't even want to hear my voice?" Rimuru snapped at Velzard. His eyes showed nothing but rage, and the intense glare petrified Velzard. This was the first time, the very first time Rimuru had snapped at her this badly, seeing Rimuru glare at her with this much rage in his eyes. But soon, the eyes that were showing nothing but rage a moment ago filled with tears. "I was on the brink of my death, and you thrust your sword inside my chest without any hesitation. Do you have any idea how betrayed I felt at that time?" The warm tears that Rimuru was barely holding inside himself started to flow from his eyes. His voice started to crack and he started to stutter. It's already been a long time since we even talked, and you didn't even want to hear my voice. How many times have I already said that I didn't do anything? Miserable. That's all Velzard felt after seeing a completely broken down Rimuru, crying and sobbing uncontrollably. He looked like an utterly and completely broken doll. How many times do I have to say, "It's all a misunderstanding"? Velzard's cold and sharp gaze softened as she hesitantly embraced him. She started to gently kiss his head and stroke his hair. "Shush, don't cry. I will listen," Velzard said in a soft voice. She couldn't bear to see Rimuru in this miserable state. It didn't matter what he did in the past. She loved him far too much to hate him, let alone see him in this pathetic state. Even if Rimuru asked her to die, she would probably kill herself at that very moment. "I'm sorry. It was all my fault." Velzard's panicked voice soothed Rimuru a little as he stopped crying. After a while, a very long time later actually, Rimuru returned to his old self but didn't let Velzard go. He hugged her tightly and trapped her inside his embrace. "Rimuru." Not wanting to startle Rimuru, Velzard said softly. "Go." Rimuru murmured to himself. "Don't go. Please don't go." I felt too miserable without you. I tried to hold back, but I can't hold it anymore. I'm at my limit. Velzard's heart felt heavy as she heard Rimuru's sad and depressed voice. Grief gripped her heart. She felt as if her soul was ripped apart, and a regretful expression appeared on her face. Don't worry, I will never leave you alone. I'm sorry. I will listen to you. No, you don't have to say anything. I already forgave you a long time ago. The comforting voice of Velzard soothed Rimuru as he calmed down. His grip loosened a bit, but he didn't let her go. He was too terrified to let her go. I know if I let her go, she will never return. Please wait a bit more. I need a little more time, Rimuru said, thinking Velzard might be feeling uncomfortable because he hadn't let go of the hug. Rimuru and Velzard had spent countless years with each other, so they easily realized when the other was feeling uncomfortable. A life without each other was something they didn't dare imagine, let alone live. They were only able to stay away for 2,000 years because of their anger toward each other. Don't worry, you can hug me as long as you. Velzard stopped mid-sentence as she felt Rimuru's soft lips collide with hers. The sweet flavor of Rimuru's lips. Ah, how much I missed these lips, Velzard thought, and closed her eyes slowly as she returned his kiss. Rimuru was not the only one who had been feeling miserable, after all. Velzard also wanted to mess with Rimuru, but she was holding herself back. It would be more appropriate to say that both of them were holding themselves back and controlling their emotions. They truly, badly wanted to be close to each other. Intermission. Velzard, the little sister of the creator, Star King Dragon Veldanava, and the second true dragon to ever be born, the White Ice Dragon, Velzard. Velzard was born shortly after the world's stabilization. From the moment she was born, she was the strongest, and she had never faced a single loss. The only person who could fight against her and win was her elder brother, Veldanava. Others didn't even come close to scratching her scales. Battle was nothing more than child's play for her, a means to pass the time. She roamed the world challenging strong individuals, destroying anyone who dared try anything foolish. She spent time with her brother, seeing him create many new species and skills. Velzard had always been a curious child from the start. She easily got bored, and it had become a problem for her. Life started to get boring and uneventful, so she decided to visit places that she hadn't explored yet. And that's when she met him, the ruler of space-time, a slime by race with otherworldly beauty. Satoru, or that is what he told her his name was. The battle was crushing for Velzard. She wasn't even able to land a single strike. Her arrogance got crushed, and her ego was refined. Devastated from her first loss, she sought her brother to ask him about the identity of the mysterious person called Satoru. Don't mess with him. Last time we fought, I barely managed to draw. But I have a feeling that I will lose against him if we fight again. Velzard was shocked. She had expected him to be strong, but to be on par with her brother, whose power she could not even fathom even after seeing it firsthand, was mind-blowing. Velzard didn't know how to react after hearing about him from her brother. Happy, shocked, panicked. Suppressing her feelings, she flew away. She was glad she hadn't made that person her enemy. Time flew and a few hundred years passed. In this period, Velzard got her first friend. One who wasn't afraid of her power, who didn't obey her because of her strength. The friend who could handle her. The relationship between Velzard and Satoru only deepened. Eating, traveling, shopping, and more. Velzard unconsciously started to spend more and more time with him. Without even knowing it herself, the existence of Satoru had become a part of her. The more she spent time with him, the more amazing she found him. Unknowingly to her, the flower of love started to bloom inside her cold heart. How ridiculous, Velzard thought to herself as she realized her feelings toward her first and only friend, Satoru. The cold-hearted girl who didn't even get along with her family had fallen in love. How absurd. Velzard found it hard to believe that a person who didn't even have a friend a few hundred years ago had fallen in love, and with her best friend no less. Velzard, are you all right? You look a little pale. The sweet but concerned voice of her friend entered her ears. Bah dump. Her heart started to beat faster and faster as Satoru's hand touched her forehead to check her temperature. Satoru's face got a little too close to Velzard's face as he tried to check her temperature with his forehead. Ba-dump. Ba-dump. Velzard wasn't able to take it and flew away from there. I'm going crazy. Since that day, 40 million years had passed. They both were in a relationship. They confessed their love 9,000 years ago and had been living happily since then. And now, a new happiness came into Velzard's life. Her new sibling, the third true dragon, was born. The scorched dragon, Velgrind. She was happy after seeing her new sibling, flying towards Satoru's residence to tell him about her cute new little sister. She's cute, just like you, Satoru said as he kissed Velzard on the cheek. A beautiful smile appeared on Velzard's face as she squealed in delight. The days started to pass again. For some reason, Satoru didn't meet Velgrind again. Velzard was a little discontented but didn't say anything. She wasn't that close to her either. The days with Satoru never got boring for Velzard. He always found a way to entertain her. From visiting a new world to visiting a whole new multiverse, there was nothing they hadn't done. Swordsmanship, martial arts, kung fu, they had learned everything from different worlds. Velzard could now use any type of weapon. Satoru taught her everything that he could. The relationship between Satoru and Velzard became extremely strong. Soon after, her next sibling was born, and he was a cute little dragon, Veldora. Her new brother was a little destructive. The only thing he knew was how to rampage and how to hide from his two older sisters. Humph, that little brother of mine is an idiot. That was the conclusion Velzard had about him. With the birth of Veldora, Velzard started to spend less time with Satoru. Not that he minded. Their relationship was pretty strong, after all. But they say that nothing is permanent, and the same went for their relationship. The bond that they had maintained for more than 17,000 years started to fracture. The crack started with a pretty small disagreement between them. From there, arguments became a regular thing, though it was more like a means to pass the time. They argued with each other, but of course, deep down they knew the other party was just bored. Even if they argued, they made up shortly after. But one day, they had a very huge argument which caused a real rift in the relationship. The strained relationship continued until one day, Satoru and Veldanava had a serious argument with each other. Velzard tried to solve the problem, but her presence just made the situation more awkward. Satoru left the heavenly castle in a bad mood. The next time Satoru appeared, Velzard didn't want to see them arguing with each other, so she took her brother's side to finish the argument. Satoru was angry with her and punched Veldanava in the face with all his might, without holding back, and then left the castle. He didn't even bother to hide his killing intent. Velzard was terrified after seeing Satoru's power once again. The lingering killing intent was proof that he didn't care about her. He punched her big brother right in front of her, just because he was angry with her. In other words, that killing intent was meant for Velzard. This led to the complete destruction of the relationship between Satoru and Velzard. Velzard's mind was a mess, and her emotions were extreme, but somehow she managed to compose herself. Velzard sighed in relief as she saw Satoru leave. She was broken from the inside but couldn't accept it. Her pride was too high to acknowledge this fact. 1 week passed since they broke up. Velzard decided to visit Veldanava in heaven, only to see a destroyed paradise. The entire heaven was ravaged. Not even space and time were spared. The amount of energy lingering in the space made Velzard's body stiff with fear, and cold chills ran down her spine. Somehow she managed to enter the destroyed space and found Satoru and Veldanava inside. Rage boiled inside her body as she looked at Satoru. Satoru was holding a sword while standing next to an unconscious Veldanava. With a cold, emotionless face, he mercilessly thrust the sword into his body. No! Stop! Without thinking, Velzard shot herself at Satoru while summoning her sword, thrusting the blade straight into Rimuru's chest. And without a trace, the entire body of Satoru disappeared. Velzard was too busy treating Veldanava's wounds to think about anything else. It took her several weeks just to wake Veldanava up. Time passed, and after several years, Satoru suddenly appeared out of nowhere one day. I hope I will never meet you in the future. My face will only bring terrible memories to you. I know you didn't want to hear my voice, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being with me to this day. You are the only girl who ever fluttered my cold heart. Please forget that I even exist. Goodbye. Just to say goodbye. Leaving a devastated and broken-hearted Velzard behind with nothing more than hatred, grief, and misery. Unable to accept reality, Velzard left to find her big brother. Much to her relief, today was a family meeting, meaning she could at least find him easily. Boom! With a heavy landing, Velzard entered heaven, heading directly toward the main palace. Brother, where is Satoru? Velzard asked Veldanava with a raised voice full of panic. What? How am I supposed to know? Perplexed by Velzard's sudden outburst, Veldanava replied to her in his typical manner. You don't know? Don't mess with me, Velzard shouted. He was God and he didn't even know where Satoru was? Did he think she was a fool to believe this garbage? I can't say. With that statement, the fifth most terrifying battle of Veldanava's life began. Chapter 41. The Mad Titan, De Gruel. Shizue POV. Rimuru-san. Ahem. My bad, Rimuru and Velzard-san started to battle, and the fight was nothing less than devastating. My eyes could barely follow their movements, even after Veldora-san increased my thought speed to 1,000,000 times. I turned around to look at the others' reactions. Veldora-san and the rest were watching the fight very seriously, but there was a troubled expression on their faces. It seems like I'm not the only one who cannot follow their speed. Fufu, how funny. The most powerful people in the world are present here but can't even follow the movement speed of Rimuru and Velzard-san. I'm glad they are fighting in the wasteland, otherwise, I wonder how Rimuru would have reacted if they were to fight in the Jura forest. I still remember how funny he looked after battling with Velgrind. The battle was at a complete stalemate. Both were equally powerful, or so I thought, until Rimuru teleported in front of Velzard and boom! It seems like Velzard was holding back a lot. The barrier, along with us, were all at their limits. The barrier cracked the moment Rimuru's body crashed into it, and then a shining barrier appeared around Rimuru's body. A terrifying amount of energy started to release from Rimuru's body. As the light died down, wait, did something happen? I felt a little uneasy. I don't know why, but Rimuru-san stopped time. He didn't even do anything in the stop time. Chloe answered me as she saw my uneasy expression. Rimuru can even do this? The light died down and all the energy disappeared into thin air, like it was never there in the first place. Gasp. My breath caught in my throat as I saw Rimuru. My eyes widened in surprise and my mind went numb. An angel or a goddess. I didn't have words to describe his beauty and figure. Swish. With a swift transition, even before I could blink, we appeared inside a black space. Isn't this the imaginary space? A separate private space of Rimuru's? I'm sure it is the imaginary space, but to think it's even possible to do this, changing the entire scenery in a matter of seconds. Report. Confirmed. The authority to customize the place has been given to individual Shizue Izawa. Please do not reveal my existence to anyone. I heard Seal's voice inside my head. Does this mean I can also change the space like Rimuru? Let's try this later. Velzard-san didn't even look surprised. It seems like she already knew about this. Did she have a similar skill, or perhaps? Seems like my womanly instincts were correct. They had already known each other for a long time, much longer than I thought. Rimuru was playing around with Velzard-san, but she looked angry. Wait, I can follow their movements now, but I'm sure their speed has actually increased compared to earlier. Did Seal do this too? You have my thanks, Seal. Report. It was nothing. Can you tell me what happened between Rimuru and Velzard-san? Their relationship looks really complicated. Report. No, I cannot. Can you at least tell me how long they have known each other? Report. More than 1 billion years. How long have they been in a relationship? Report. 1,087 years, 11 months, 12 days, 7 hours, 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Stop. Stop. I get it. You don't have to go into milliseconds or nanoseconds. Hey, Seal, is it my imagination? Or did you sound a little annoyed earlier when I asked? Report. It was your imagination. Ha, that was a fast reply. But to be able to hold a relationship for nearly 1 billion years, they must have a deep bond. That explains everything. But wasn't Rimuru born a little more than 3 years ago? Report. Master was reincarnated 3 years ago. Because, cannot tell. Oh, I get it. Don't worry. I understand. Report. Thank you. Ha. Seal, why did you teleport us here? The interesting part was about to come. The expression on Rimuru-san's face was very serious. Did I say san again? Arg. Forget it. What is Veldora-san doing? Oh, it's the authority that Seal-san gave me a while ago. It looks like Veldora-san got it too. Report. Correction. Master gave you the authority. I am only responsible for the use of the skill. Authority has to be given by Rimuru-sama. Even if I and Rimuru-sama use the same skill at the same time, the skill will follow Rimuru-sama's orders and wishes. That's new. I never knew that. That means you are like a second in command. Report. You can put it that way. Is it fine to tell me this? Report. It's fine. As long as you don't tell anyone. Master believes in you. So do I. What's with the pause in that sentence? Anyway, can you tell me how Rimuru and Velzard-san met? Report. No. Really? You can't tell me? Seal, tell me, please. Report. No. Pretty please. Report. No. Seal won't tell me, but I'm really curious about how Rimuru and Velzard met in the past. Sensei, why are you angry? The concerned voice of Chloe pulled me out of my thoughts. Looks like I made her worry about me. Don't worry, Chloe. It's nothing, really. If you say so. Rimuru POV. Velzard, I will not let you go. No matter what you say, I will do anything. Just stay by my side. It's enough. I said to her as I looked into her eyes. What would she say? I hate you? I don't want to see your face? It didn't matter. As long as she stayed by my side, it was enough. I also didn't want to leave you. So please, one more time. Let me stay by your side. Will you? Satoru. Rimuru. Her soft voice soothed my soul as she looked at me with her cerulean blue eyes. A warm smile that put my mind at ease. How magnificent. Yes, you don't have to ask. The position next to me will always belong to you. Nobody can take that place. But you, I said to her with a smile as I kissed her. How long I had waited for this day, 2,000 years. Who cares, as long as she is with me, that's enough for me. Let's go outside. I just nodded at her words. I was very happy that the misunderstanding between us was solved. I was ready to throw a party at any moment. Should I tell Shuna to prepare a surprise party? No, there's no fun in that. It's become an old and common method now. Let's get out of here first. I will think about it later. Swish. With just a mere thought of mine, all of us, me, my beloved Velzard, and the others, appeared outside in the barren lands. And we were all greeted by none other than Demon Lord de Gruel? Seems like our fight caused some disturbance in his country. Well, I couldn't help it myself. Velzard was too jealous and angry to listen to me before. Demon Lord Guy, Rimuru, Luminous, Leon, Storm Dragon Veldora, and even White Dragon Velzard. And who are these two humans? Especially this girl with the mask. De Gruel, my friend. It's a long story. Guy was the first one to reply. It's against the rules to appear in another Demon Lord's territory without any prior arrangements. And here 4 Demon Lords, 2 true dragons, 1 hero, and 1 saint had appeared out of nowhere. I can understand his situation. Poor Guy, he must have been anxious all this time. Don't worry, I have a lot of free time. As expected, he won't let this matter go easily. That's normal, I guess. Before everyone becomes tense, I have to do something. I think I have to do the talking here. You misunderstood. Guy means that it's a long story, so let's go somewhere more comfortable to discuss this matter. Right, Guy? I said as I looked at Guy, and he nodded in agreement. So where should we go? Tempest? The North Continent? Let's go back to Lune. Luminous unexpectedly decided to use her place for the meeting, but I didn't think it was a good idea, mainly because of the presence of many humans and our uninvited guests. Well, there was another reason, which was, no, let's hold the meeting 3 days later in Tempest. It's a hassle to explain everything again and again, I replied hurriedly. All the people looked at me with a confused look, which is why I decided to elaborate on my sentence. I mean, the earthquakes didn't only occur in the wastelands and Lune, but the whole world. I'm sure Dworgen and Suran will ask for an explanation. Don't you think so, Leon? I looked at Leon with narrowed eyes. This guy was the one who brought the Sauron people here, so it was his fault. Yes. Not wanting to argue, Leon agreed pretty easily. Looks like he was very happy after meeting with Chloe again. Then it's decided. The meeting will be held in Tempest after 3 days, I said cheerfully, and the others just nodded in agreement. De Gruel didn't look satisfied but didn't say anything. It would be foolishness, not courage, to say anything now. He is pretty smart, and I like people like De Gruel, tough and cold on the outside, but soft and caring on the inside. So let me help him just once. I'm feeling rather happy anyway. You don't look convinced, De Gruel. But since the giants have followed Veldanava's orders and protected the heavenly gate for thousands of years, how can I let you and your people suffer or die? Let me give you a little present, I said to him. A huge, prismatic black sphere appeared below my feet and started to expand. In less than a few seconds, prismatic darkness covered the entire wasteland and barren lands. Fertile Paradox. It's a spell that uses a sacrifice to return the land to its original state. Since we didn't have a sacrifice, I used my magicules as a substitute. The prismatic darkness cleared up. The place had been a dead desert area, a wasteland that spread as far as the eye could see. That place was now transformed into a land where greenery spread out all over. Vegetation grew with terrific vigor, bringing forth fertile soil. In a flash, vast woodlands were formed, second only to the great Jura forest.